Want to speak real Bulgarian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at BulgarianPod101.com.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of BulgarianPod101.com, the best way to learn Bulgarian language, with your host here, Daria. Today, I'm eager to share with you 10 questions you should know. And why have I picked those? You'll see why. Here is some explanation at the end of every question and sample answer you're gonna get. So if you are ready to start, let's go!
Как се казвате? Как се казвате? What's your name?
Here is the first question. Как се казвате? Как се казвате? What's your name? Great. Pay attention that казвате is actually formal way to say, to ask for somebody's name. Казвате. The informal way and first person of the verb казвам се is казваш. Как се казваш? You can ask this to somebody you feel familiar with. How to reply? Very simple. Казвам се Дария. Казвам се Дария. My name is Daria. Very simple. And you can also say as съм Daria. I am Daria. Various name. You can even forget the verb part and just reply with your name. As simple as that.
Как сте? Как сте? How are you?
The next question you should know actually logically follows the first one. Как сте? Как сте? How are you? Right after you ask for somebody's name, let's ask how do they feel? Again, with this one, remember that как сте is a formal way to ask a person. Or you can ask multiple persons, multiple people, personas. Okay, great. Как сте turns into как си. This is the informal way of asking how are you? And how do you reply? Here is a sample. Добре съм, благодаря. Добре съм, благодаря. I'm fine, thank you. It's a good thing to add the благодаря at the end. It really gives a hint that you are a human being. I encourage you to use благодаря as often as you can, because in my culture we don't get to use it a lot.
Откъде си? Откъде си? Where are you from?
Great! Now that you have found out what's the person's name and how do they feel, you can ask them. Откъде си? Откъде си? Where are you from? And a possible answer to this could be от Sofia. От Sofia. From Sofia. You can change the location and turn it into Plovdiv, Varna, Russe, Burgas, or whatever town you are from. But this is how you can ask a Bulgarian person. Откъде си? Where are you from?
Кога е рожденият ти ден? Кога е рожденият ти ден? When is your birthday?
Another question I really like to ask people because I'm so interested in astrology that I would like right away to know everybody's zodiac sign. Maybe that makes me a little bit prejudiced, but hey, I bond with some signs and some not, so I have to watch out for those people. So I will ask, кога е рожденият ти ден? Кога е рожденият ти ден? When is your birthday? It's a phrase that needs a little bit of practice because of a lot of d sounds, but you'll get to it very quickly, I am sure. And how do you reply to that? If you don't want to give away your birthday, you can just reply by giving your month of birth. For example, I'm born in February, so I would answer през февруари. През февруари. It's very similar to February. February. Just a little bit of a trick over there in pronunciation, but that means in February. And I indeed was born in February. This makes me an Aquarius.
Къде живееш? Къде живееш? Where do you live?
So, after you've learned the person's birthday, but before you ask them straight for their bank account number, you can ask them this. Къде живееш? Къде живееш? Where do you live? And, of course, they will try to get around the answer. So, you may get an answer like this. Живея с приятели. Живея с приятели. I live with friends. Of course, this means leave me alone and don't ask me any more questions, please. But hey, it's better to live with friends, by the way, than with your family. It shows up that you are taking responsibility for your adult life. So great that you're living with friends.
Къде работиш? Къде работиш? Where do you work?
One of the favorite questions somebody would ask you, of course, because they try, to figure out what social class you belong to or how much money you make. Of course, they would ask you this. Къде работиш? Къде работиш? Where do you work? To which you can, of course, create your own story if you don't like to deal with nosy people. But if you truly would like to answer honestly, tell wherever you work. But here is a way of saying it. В една туристическа агенция. В една туристическа агенция. I think you almost thought of what exactly this means in English, and it means in a travel agency, in a tourist agency. Yes. So if you work, for example, in a bank, you can say в една банка, or if you don't work at all, you can say I am a happy person.
Какъв е телефонният ти номер? Какъв е телефонният ти номер? What's your phone number?
Some people would like to know a lot of things about you, so they may ask you, какъв е телефонният ти номер? Какъв е телефонният ти номер? What's your phone number? Of course, if it's a very important business connection, you would give your phone number to this person that you're talking to. However, if it's just a random person who is trying to interfere in your life, this is how you reply. Предпочитам да не го давам на непознати. Предпочитам да не го давам на непознати. I prefer not giving it to strangers. I think that you would agree with me on this one.
Къде сте учили български език? Къде сте учили български език? Where did you learn Bulgarian?
Great, guys! So, you're in a party with Bulgarian people and you are impressing them with the Bulgarian language you've already learned, so it's natural that somebody should ask you. Къде сте учили български език? Къде сте учили български език? Where have you learned Bulgarian? Great, so be prepared for this question. So when this question comes, here's how you answer. На летен лагер в Родопите. На летен лагер в Rodopite, my favorite mountain, Rodopi. This literally translates as in a summer camp in the Rodopi Mountains. Great! This is a good way to learn Bulgarian right over there. Another good way is to comment on this channel. I learned Bulgarian with BulgarianPod101.com. And if somebody asks you, къде сте учили български, you can say BulgarianPod101.com, which literally is our name with the S in the front.
Харесвате ли българската кухня? Харесвате ли българската кухня? Do you like Bulgarian food?
And of course, a conversation with a Bulgarian person would not be complete without them asking you about our food. How do you find it? So, a Bulgarian person may ask you, харесвате ли българската кухня? Харесвате ли българската кухня? Do you like Bulgarian food? What do you think the answer should be? Please never tell a Bulgarian person you don't like the Bulgarian cuisine. Even if you don't like it, we take pride in everything that is Bulgarian for some reason. So also this is a very good shortcut to insult a Bulgarian. Tell them you don't like their food. However, for the purposes of making friendship, here is how you should answer the question. Абсолютно обожавам я. Абсолютно обожавам я. Definitely yes. I love it. You love it and they will love you for loving it.
Били ли сте в България? Били ли сте в България? Have you been to Bulgaria?
The next question may come into conversation if you are outside of Bulgaria, somewhere, and you meet Bulgarian people or anybody who would like to ask about our country. So the question would be, били ли сте в България? Били ли сте в Bulgaria? Have you been to Bulgaria? And in case this conversation is not happening in my country, you can reply. Не, никога, но много бих искала. Не, никога, но много бих искала. This means no, never, but I would like to very much. However, pay attention that this phrase, много бих искала, I would like to very much, is only if you are a female saying it. If you are a male saying it, you should say много бих искал. So there is just one letter difference, but it makes the whole change of gender over there. And so this is the end of today's episode of BulgarianPod101.com. You've learned 10 questions you should know in Bulgarian language. For more, go to BulgarianPod101.com and also subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with the next episode with your host, Daria. I love sharing all kind of facts with you about my country, sometimes with a little bit of humor. I hope you don't mind that, and I will try to do that in the next episode. Until we see one another again, you can leave something in the comment section for me to read. Довиждане и благодаря. Goodbye and thank you. Hi guys, how is it going? Welcome to another episode of BulgarianPod101.com with me, Daria, your host. Today, I have prepared for you something very interesting because the topic of this lesson is 10 phrases you never want to hear. And even though you may not want to hear them, you will have to hear them now in this episode if you would like to learn how to speak a better Bulgarian language. It's not so bad, and most of them are universal. You don't want to hear them anywhere. Even if it's Australia or Burkina Faso, probably. So some of them, I'll give you some more insight about why it's good or not good to hear them in my home country, Bulgaria. So let's go.
Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Have you gained weight recently?
One of the worst phrases that nobody wants to hear is this. Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Have you gained weight recently? Not a very good thing to hear, especially if you're a woman. That's why the sentence or the phrase has the feminine inclination in it. So, качила. You can also try to say to a guy, не си ли качил малко килограми напоследък? But I think for a guy, that's not the worst thing they never want to hear. Because guys, we women are a little more touchy about the subject of weight.
Имаш няколко бели косама. Имаш няколко бели косама. You have a gray hair.
Another phrase you may not want to hear, and then again, this is very subjective, and I'll tell you why, is this phrase. Имаш няколко бели косама. Имаш няколко бели косама. You have a gray hair. And pay attention that in the Bulgarian version of the sentence, the color of the hair is white, beli kosama. And then it translates as gray hair in English, which is siv kosam, gray hair. But if you tell somebody, oh, you have white hair, имаш няколко бели косама, I've heard this reply and I love saying it back to people. Oh, it's okay that I have white hair. It's my transitioning into a white swan. So there you go again, subjective. It may be the worst thing you hear. It may be not so bad after all. Moving on to the next phrase.
Нали ти казах? Нали ти казах? I told you so.
The next phrase is нали ти казах? Нали ти казах? I told you so. Yes, in the egocentric society that we live nowadays, in the 21st century, this is a very common phrase. And of course, everybody likes to say it and nobody likes to hear it. So, it probably helps if you don't speak well Bulgarian that if somebody told you нали ти казах, it will just pass through your ear and go the other way. But you can use this phrase yourself if you want to tease somebody.
Уволнен си. Уволнен си. You are fired.
Again, a phrase you don't want to hear is уволнен си. Уволнен си. You are fired. Of course, if you love your job, that's the worst thing you want to hear. The last thing you want to hear is уволнен си. However, it may make somebody extremely happy that they're finally fired. Because soon they'll be hired, that's what is on my mind. When one door closes, another one opens. Such as the blow of the universe.
Причината не е в теб, а в мен. Причината не е в теб, а в мен. It's not you, it's me.
Moving on to the next phrase that you don't want to hear. Причината не е в теб, а в мен. Причината не е в теб, а в мен. It's not you, it's me. What are your associations when you hear this, right? You never trust this sentence because it implies that it's actually you that have the fault. The fault is on you, the guilt. But you don't have to worry about hearing this in Bulgaria because nobody will say it this way. They will directly say, it's your fault. So it's you, it's not me.
Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Thank you for your resume. However, the position has been filled.
Let's say that you are looking for a job and you have found that pretty good position. It reflects everything you wanted. The work hours, the location of the job, the pay, everything is perfect and you have applied with your resume, but instead you hear this phrase. Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Thank you for your resume. The position, however, has been filled. Yes, that's definitely something you never want to hear if you are applying to your dream job. But then again, when one door closes, another one opens, and maybe there is something better around the corner even than your dream job.
Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. We should see other people as well.
The next phrase is something you never want to hear from your partner in life. Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. We should see other people as well. Which means that maybe your partner is not into you, or maybe they have changed their philosophy from a monogamous to a polygamous point of view. Hey, no judging here. Everybody's free to say what they want, but in case you are a monogamous type, this is the last thing you want to hear from your partner.
Не мога да ти върна парите днес. Не мога да ти върна парите днес. I don't have your money today.
If you had lent some money to somebody, this is definitely the phrase you don't want to hear from them. Не мога да ти върна парите днес. Не мога да ти върна парите днес. I don't have your money today. It's okay if you hear this phrase for the first time from your friend. Because you know what happens, they may have forgotten or they may be in a difficult situation, so today is not the day. However, if you hear this phrase, не мога да ти върна парите днес, for a fifth time within a couple of months, then you should start worrying. Because this friend may never pay you back, unfortunately. There are people like that, they just never pay back.
Трябва да поговорим за нещо. Трябва да поговорим за нещо. We need to talk.
Next comes a phrase that nobody wants to hear. And when they hear the phrase, people usually are so afraid, paralyzed, and full with anxiety that they try to avoid the following event of the phrase. Here is the phrase. Трябва да поговорим за нещо. Трябва да поговорим за нещо. We need to talk. Now, even though this is a phrase that nobody wants to hear because they're afraid that something bad will be discussed, or this is the end of the relationship, or the school principal will tell the parents something bad about their son or daughter in school, hey, hold on. It's not the end of the world. And it's actually better if we go on and discuss hard problems instead of just avoiding them. So no need to feel anxious or afraid when somebody tells you that. Just go for it and overcome it, like a true warrior.
Извинявай, забравих. Извинявай, забравих. Sorry, I forgot.
The next phrase is not as bad as the other phrases we've covered until now, but still, if it concerns your birthday and it's your best friend or your partner, it's kind of a bummer to hear it. Извинявай, забравих. Извинявай, забравих. Sorry, I forgot. Well, you can always count on your mom, by the way, that you'll never forget anything, especially your birthday. So there you go. You have one person who will never pronounce this. And here comes the end of this week's episode of BulgarianPod101.com. In this episode, we've covered 10 phrases you never want to hear. Maybe some of them are useful, maybe some of them are not. Please let me know what is the phrase that you never want to hear in the comment section below this video. For more episodes like this one, please click subscribe, but also visit BulgarianPod101.com for more lessons in Bulgarian. I am your host, Daria, and for me, it's a great pleasure to bring you these episodes. I hope you're having fun with me. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.